Welcome back to The Wrap. Last week, ESPN's very popular personality, Mr. Dan Patrick, was in town for a charity dinner and auction. I had a chance to sit down with him before he headed off to the big event and ask him a few questions about his job and, of course, sports. Check this out. We are so proud and pleased to be here at the Radisson Hotel, the lovely Radisson, I may add, with a sports legend in broadcasting, Mr. Dan Patrick. And Dan, on behalf of the Toledo community, we want to thank you so much for coming here for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we're just so proud and pleased to have you here.
Hey, it's good to be here. Being an Ohio guy, good to be sort of back home. I'm from the southern part of the state, so I don't get up north too often.
Well, Dan, you're played on 1470 The Ticket here in Toledo every day from 1 to 4, and I hear it constantly, two things. Everybody feels like they know you, and that's a tremendous compliment to you. They just feel comfortable with you. They feel like they know you. And then the other thing I hear is that you get people through their workday. You make their workday a lot better. What does that mean to you, Dan?
Well, I think if you have the opportunity, the forum, to be able to do a show sort of in a reflection of your personality. I mean, I don't try to be somebody different when I'm on the radio. And that makes it easy to do. So to be able to do it, have the guest on that I want to have on, be able to talk about what I want to talk about, and that somebody might tune in and enjoy that, then that's great. I mean, that's why we do this. There's self-gratification of doing a job correctly, and hopefully been able to do that.
Well, you're fantastic at what you do, Dan. And, just because everybody feels like they know you, something about you that the average sports fan would not know or would be surprised about?
I'm a big music buff. Love music.
Who do you like?
Everybody.
Beatles, Beach Boys, Rolling Stones.
I've got it all. If it's country, if it's rap, if it's rock and roll, if it's classical, I listen to it. That's what I want to do in another life, is be a musician.
Thoughts of your own sportscasters band in the Bahamas someday?
No, none of that. I know what an amateur is and what a professional is.
Yes.
Now, in my business, I know the difference between those starting and,
right.
I have over 20 years of experience. Look at a musician and look at somebody starting out. I'd be the novice here. I'd be in single A, and everybody else is all-stars. But I have great appreciation for what they do, and in a lot of ways they are similar to athletes because they make it look easy.
Right.
And I think sometimes that's where we miss the point with athletes, musicians, whatever it is, that they worked hard to get to where they are. It's like when people say, well, I'd like to be Bob Costas. And I said, well, so do I. But you have to work to get to that point. Bob makes it look so easy. You want to be LeBron James. He makes it look easy. The great ones make it look easy, and that's the same way it is with musicians. So I have great appreciation for what they do.
Well, Danny, let's get quick because we're running low on time, and a couple of things I want to get to. Kind of like we'll do quick jump shots, like that jump shot that you used to have in college. We'll do it quick. Hank Aaron, Roger Maris, should they be looked at? I see them differently now in sports. They did it straight up. They did it fair. Some of these fellas, did cheat a little bit. Should they be looked at differently in the record book? I
think Hank Aaron's the most underrated athlete of all time. Not just baseball of all time. I think a great man, what he went through to break the record. He had people, we thought Jackie Robinson went through a lot,
right,
which he certainly did, but Hank Aaron went through it again in the 70s. So as much as we want to pat ourselves on the back and say, okay, we're starting to get things right, we didn't get it right with Hank Aaron. He did it the right way, forgotten guy, and I feel bad for him with all of these other guys that the 500 home run club is not an exclusive club anymore.
Right.
I hate the fact that we have suspicions when you watch baseball. I hate the fact you have suspicions when you watch anything. The Olympics, it's unfortunate, but it goes along with the territory. Baseball allowed this to happen. Baseball has itself to blame, and unfortunately, we sort of pay the price because we don't know what is real or not. If I watch the WWE, I know it's not real. I don't want that same feeling when I watch a baseball game or a football game or track and field.
Right. Danny, Randy Moss to the Raiders. Who wins, who loses there?
I never believe in addition by subtraction. I never agree with that. It's like Terrell Owens with the 49ers. He's still a great receiver at the end of the day. You may have baggage with him. He's still a great receiver. Terrell Owens, still a great receiver. Randy Moss, the same way. Baggage, but great player. I think the Raiders made out. I think they have some good young wide receivers, and I think Moss will get the last laugh in this.
Dan Patrick, we thank you so much for coming to Toledo for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we thank you so much for what you do on the radio every day in Toledo from 1 to 4, and you make people's days, and you've made our day on the Sports Wrap on the BCSN. Dan, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And we'll be back with more on the Sports Wrap.